Okay friends, it's time to get started on replacing our lamp assemblies. Let's go ahead and start removing this lamp assembly. You've got 4 mounting screws. Go ahead and remove them all. Carefully grab onto this. Now we can remove our pigtails. Just go ahead and squeeze onto this. Give it a little twist. You want to inspect your bulb, make sure it's in good working order. Same for this one. Now with that out of the way, you're going to find 2 mounting screws down along here. That's going to help you remove the grille from the body of the truck. Obviously you could use a ratchet and a socket to remove this right here, but I'm just going to use my 7mm wrench. There's one. I'll do the same to the other one, and then we'll do the same on the other side of the truck. Now that we have both sides out, the next thing that we want to do is come right in the center. You're going to find a mounting screw right here, and then if you follow this all the way up, you should have another one right there. This one's missing on ours, but go ahead and remove them both. Next, we're going to move up along the top. You're going to find some mounting screws that come across. Go ahead and remove all 4. Go ahead and tuck these in. Carefully grab onto your grill and remove it from the truck. All right. Now that we have that slid out of the way, we can go ahead and grab onto this marker. Inspect your bulb, of course. Set that aside. Same on the other side. With the grill out of the way, we have a nice clear view of our headlight, so we can start replacing it. You're going to find 4 mounting bolts, 1 down here, 1 over there, and then 2 up along the top along the same areas. Let's carefully remove this from the body of the truck. And now we can start disconnecting our headlamp and high beam. And I'm going to disconnect this. Inspect your bulb, make sure it looks like it's in good working order. You want to make sure that you do not touch the glass on these. There it is, friends. Inspect both of your pigtails, make sure they're in good condition. If you see any funny colors, it's probably corrosion and it needs to be dealt with. These look fair, so we'll set them aside. All right, now it's going to be time to install our brand new headlamp assembly. Something to pay attention to is the wiring for the headlamp itself. You want to make sure you put it down behind here and not put it across here where it could potentially get damaged up against the body of the vehicle. Let's also take our 9005 high beam bulb. Let's quickly talk about the adjustment points. You're going to have one right here for the headlight alignment. This is going to make it go left and right. This one right here is going to make it go up and down. That's how you're going to adjust the beam once you get everything put in. Let's go ahead and start in all 4 of our bolts. Once they're all started, we'll snug them up. Let's get this lined up the way that we want it. Snug it up. Now we're going to talk about wiring these in. Obviously, this one right here is going to go to your headlight beam right there. This one right along here is for the LED halos that are going to go around it. I like to have the halos set up so when I turn on the parking lights, it's going to have the halos on, and then if I want to have the headlights on as well, those will come on when I push the headlight switch all the way. The black one is going to be to the ground, and then the red would be to the power. Like I said, I want to have it hooked up to the parking lights, so when I push the button for the parking lights and not necessarily the headlights, the halos will turn on. To do that, I'm just going to come right down here to the 2 bulbs that were down inside this lower lens right here. You can pick either of these. It really doesn't matter which one you like. And what we're essentially going to do is come right to this black wire. That's going to be the ground. The maroonish brown looking wire is the power wire for the parking lights themselves. This little green one right here is for directionals, so don't tap into that. I'm going to use this connector right here. I'm going to put it on the 2 wires. So I'm going to take this one, put it through the dead end side, and then I'll take this, put it right across like that. Make sure it's completely situated. And we'll just bring this down. I'll hold it so you can see. As I squeeze this, it's going to squeeze it in along those 2 wires. Give it a nice good squeeze. Use some pliers if you need to. Okay, give everything a nice tug. That feels good. Now this isn't where you're going to want to leave this. I am going to move along to the next wire before I continue with this, but what I do want to do is make sure that it's completely coated so there's no way moisture can make its way into my wiring harness. Just give it a nice squeeze. Now that we have both those on there, let's leave them as they are. We're going to continue on to connecting in our low beam and our high beam. The high beam is going to have 2 slots on it, and the low beam should have only 1. Click it in, give it a little wiggle. Let's do this one as well. All right, let's test it. Just going going to use a little dielectric grease right inside these ports where it seems like moisture can make its way in. We'll do both of these, and then of course we're going to use some electrical tape to tape it all up and seal it up nice. Okay, this looks great. Let's do the same to the other side of the vehicle. Now we're going to carefully put our grille back on here. Pay attention to where it's lining up with the bumper. We want it to kind of slide in and behind the bumper. All right, so now we're just going to pull this right up here. We're going to start in all of our bolts coming across the top. We'll start in the lower and the center bolts, and then we can snug everything up. Now that we've got all of our screws started in, let's continue on by snugging them up. Make sure you don't forget your center ones. Let's continue on by putting in our marker light. Just going to twist this till it feels like it fits in. Turn it clockwise, lock it in. Now it's going to be time to get our directional lamp inside here. Let's go ahead and line up our bulbs. It really doesn't matter which one you put where. But if you do look at these harnesses right here, you can see it has a larger little piton and then a couple smaller ones. Looking at the lens assembly itself, you're going to see that it has a larger hole and two smaller. Just go ahead and line that up and then click it in. Make sure you lock it. Do the same to the other one. All right, make sure that one's locked in as well. Now we're just going to take this, we'll slide it in, line up all four of our bolt holes, start in all four bolts, and then snug them up. Okay friends, we got everything back together. What's left to do now? Now you're going to make sure that you test all of your front lights. You want to make sure that the headlights work, the high beams work, the marker lights, and of course your directionals. That way there you can drive safely down the road. And one last thing, make sure you align your headlights. To align these headlights while they're still on the vehicle, you're going to come in through this hole right here. This is to make it go up and down. And then if you come over to this hole right there, that's going to make the adjustment left and right. This is going to be a general tutorial on how to aim your brand new TRQ headlamp assemblies. Okay, so looking at your brand new TRQ headlamp assembly, you're going to see where your low beam is, and you'll see a little dot right in the center. And that is the axis point, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to mark that with an erasable marker, just so it's easier to see. Next, what we need to do is measure from the level ground up to this point and take note of that measurement. Now we're just going to pull the car up to our wall. On our vehicle, we remember that the measurement was 28 inches for our access point. Your vehicle may be different, but that's where I'm going to put this tape, just above that 28 inches. We'll do the same on the other side. Okay, so let's just back the vehicle up, straight back 25 feet from the wall. And now that we moved our vehicle 25 feet back from the wall, we're going to start with our measurement here. That's where the headlamp center is. We're going to go down 4 inches on the driver's side. On the passenger side, we have our line here. What we need to do is go down 2 inches. To adjust the driver's side, we're going to cover our passenger side headlamp. If you look at the back side of your headlamp assembly, you're going to see something that looks like this. This is the adjustment. Some of these headlight assemblies have 1, 2, or even more of them, but you should at least have one. This is how we're going to adjust the headlight beam. Now we're going to lower the top part of the beam down to just below this line. When you turn the adjustment to the right, it brings the beam up, and if you turn it to the left, it'll bring the headlight beam down. And this is this way on most vehicles. Let's continue on to doing the passenger side. All right, we properly aligned our TRQ headlamp assemblies. Okay, and on the quality TRQ headlamps for a pickup truck, the procedure is going to be the same. You're going to find your center dot, mark it, and then you'll measure from the level ground up to your dot.